In many cases, an admonition is made by an ambitious retainer to perform some feat or by someone controlled by another. But it should be done secretly through a man really trusted by the Lord. Unless it is accepted by the Lord, you have to keep the Lord's error hidden and at the same time raise his popularity among the people of the clan. Regrettably, however, when their opinion is ignored, those who admonish feel disappointed and tend to turn their back on the Lord. Some of them even talk ill of the Lord in public. What unfaithful retainers they are. 316. Make yourself familiar with the administrative attendants of the Lord. It is not for your own sake, but for the Lord's. You can then consult them when you want to transmit your idea to the Lord. If they agree with you, they will tell the Lord what you say. In this way, you can influence the Lord even if you do not do so by yourself. Of course, if the administrative attendants show no interest in your idea, it is out of the question. In any event, a retainer has to think of the good of the Lord at all times. 151. An admonition or opinion bears no fruit if it is given after your master has done wrong. It will probably lead to more wrongdoing by him. It is like taking medicine after a disease occurs. You will not catch a disease as long as you take care of your health. To do so is much easier and better for your health. In the same way, you should admonish or advise your master before he falls into evil ways. It is like prevention against a disease. 217. What is most needed for a retainer is mental readiness to offer your life for your master. Then you should cultivate in yourself wisdom, compassion, and bravery. It may seem quite impossible to possess these together, but it is not. It is rather easy. To obtain wisdom, you have only to consult those around you. Compassion is formed in yourself by working for the good of others. To endure hardships with clenched teeth makes you brave and courageous. Nothing else is needed. Decent appearance, manners, and good handwriting are also required for a retainer. You can develop these by daily practice. To look calm and courageous is the state to aim at. Then you should study your own clan like its history. Hobbies and arts are the last to set your hand to because they are merely for recreation. In a word, it is not hard to become a good retainer. A useful person today is one possessed with these three merits. 210. As a retainer, you have to do your best to fulfill your duty. You're required to understand it well and pursue it as diligently as you can, thinking that each day could be your last. In carrying out your work, always do it as if you are by the side of the Lord. Then you will not make any mistakes. It will be possible to achieve your dearest purpose when you are placed in a proper post. Maintain your devotion to the last. 157. A retainer is required always to stiffen his backbone. He has to behave as if he were close by the Lord or in public places. Even when resting, you should be on your guard. Otherwise, you will look absent-minded in public. Take care not to look off guard at any time. 67. There should be no difference between serving the Lord behind his back and doing so in his presence. You should not behave basely in your master's absence. Even when unseen, you should not harbor mean thoughts about him. Otherwise, you will end up looking graceless in public. Any mere pretense will be certain to expose your mean intention. 236. A retainer can complete his duty by performing with delight. You have only to fall in love with your work. Fall in love with your Lord and work as diligently as much as you can. Such a man is a good retainer. Perhaps you will make a mistake in your work because of your eagerness, but will you not be happy to accept punishment for your service? They say too much is as bad as too little, but that does not apply to service. In service, too much is just good. To make a mistake in service and incur punishment is nothing but an honor. A smart man will not live such a naively honest life, but in my opinion he will have wasted his life as a samurai. The honest way for the life of a retainer is to make occasional mistakes and accept punishment. So transient is our life. Let us take the thorny path without wavering. Abandon everything else and devote yourself to the Lord. There is no point in asking yourself whether you're faithful or not, righteous or not, and the like. No excuse is necessary for a retainer. I abhor argumentative people. 196. Anyone serves willingly when he is treated well by his master, but if he is demoted to a minor post, he will feel disappointed. But that is no good. Even if you are asked to do lowly job like scooping up water or cooking rice, you should do it willingly. 876. A retainer can accomplish his duties if he is sincere, though his intention may differ slightly according to whom he serves. If you serve the Lord close by, you must take care not to be presumptuous. Such an attitude is disliked by him. If the Lord thinks of his retainer as a bit unreliable, but cannot replace him with another, that retainer should be regarded as an ideal person to carry out duties for the Lord. You should defer your colleagues, seniors, and peers as often as possible. If the time comes when they are unable to do their job on account of illness, reassignment, or transfer, it will be your turn to volunteer in their place. That is a commendable behavior for a retainer, but it must be done in sincerity. Early promotion is not effective at all, as we see from in many past examples. I have been serving the Lord since my early days, but have never addressed him facetiously. 233. It is inexcusable to refuse a new post offered to you saying you do not like it. Likewise, it is inexcusable to resign from your present post. Such behavior would be considered disgraceful for a retainer of Saga clan. It could be said to be treason against the Lord. In other clans, they seem to take it for granted to resign from their current post when they do not like the new one. Our retainers have to accept any new post respectfully, putting aside their likes or dislikes because it is an order from the Lord. If you still do not like it, you can keep making your case until you are satisfied. 158. A conspicuous retainer is no good, said Yamasaki Kurando. He is quite correct. The right retainer in the right place is one who is really fond of his post. It may seem plausible for a man to put forward incomprehensible arguments about everything, to grieve over the uncertainty of life, to prefer living as a hermit, to renounce the world for its dirt and the noise of big cities, or to enjoy literary interests. However, all these things are caused by selfish desire. They long only for a world of serenity and comfort that may be allowed for monks and hermits. A retainer is not a hermit. If he is inclined to such a world, he might well be called a coward. To train himself in martial arts requires repeated hard practice for a lengthy period, so he escapes to life of comfort. A retainer devoted to his service will live a splendid life even without scholarship. So will the man who is keenly interested in bringing up his family. On the other hand, if a retainer is strongly interested in meditation in a temple, composing poetry and living in elegance, he is apt to ruin himself, because he will be torn by the double dealings which they entail. He is not the monk or a retainer, not a court noble or a hermit. He is just an ugly-looking man, is he not? Some people say that a person should be allowed to take an interest in such pastime as long as it does not interfere with his family affairs. That may be true to some extent, but no one can find the time for leisure if he devotes his life to his family. If he had some time to spare for other things, he is not fully engaged in family matters. 263. A retainer can raise himself above his fellows by his behavior, speech, and writing. Good behavior is based on elegant manners. Such a person is worthy of praise. Today, some men are distinguished simply because they are good at writing and reading, though not at behavior. Many people seem to make light of these basic skills. 246. Improve your posture by looking in the mirror. That is the secret, because most of the people do not look in the mirror. They do not have good posture. Regarding the use of a language, train yourself at home. Write your letters carefully. It is good for you to be dignified and attractive in these points. The priest Ryozan said that when you write a letter, you should consider that it might be hung on the wall by the recipient. He was taught by that while staying in Kyoto. 90. Note: Ryozan was born in Saga and trained in Kyoto and was known for his poetry. He died in June 1727, aged 76.